All right, who else needs one of these resource pages? I know I'm missing a couple people. Right? So, also in there are a variety of highlighter colors. There will be times in our notes, please, like got people carrying on conversations, that you want to change highlighter color. If there are 4 and some of your groups have 5 highlighter colors, what do you think would work if you're all trying to change highlighter colors? Yeah, just like rotate, right? If we end up with like yellow, orange, green, blue, and then we want to switch colors in our notes to activate a different part of our brain, like rotate, right? So we've now got these resource kits. You have 2 bags of algebra tiles in there, which normally is enough for your whole group. And you also have Post-its, big Post-its and small Post-its. Gotta love Post-its. So if you want to mark things in your book as we go, because you'll start to bring your textbook with you sometimes, or your other option, and these need to stay in order. So give me your eyes. If this system doesn't work, there will not be loaner books. Okay, so hear me when I say this. This rack right here has books 52 through 63. They're in order, and they all fit. It's nice. They've got a little extra room, and they should always be in order so that we know that they're all there. Your group can come up and grab loaner books, but you got to put them back when you're done with class. Okay? As long as this system works, you don't really have to bring your own book to class. But then in your notes, you might want to make notes about pages that were on or whatever, because I have the book up here, and then you can get 2 of these loaner books, but then put them back at the end of class, just exactly in the order that they would have been. Cool? Those are some of the changes as we're getting into the new year, and this week has been so awkward with you guys not being in my class.
And just because we want to keep you on your toes, it's not boring. Keep your head up.
And it smelled like coffee for like a day, which was a positive. To all my coffee can caddies. All right, so today we got to bring back some memory of what we did earlier in the week. Layla, what's up?
Can I have a handout, please?
Absolutely not. You were late, you don't get one. Joke. All right, so we are back at the casino. And, hey, so especially for my orchestra people, I know that we're going to have to pick this lesson up next week. I'm aware that my plans for this week, this is why I write in pencil, have totally been blown up. Lost like 3-ish days out of my plans. So when you leave for orchestra, we're going to be taking a quiz. I'm going to give that to you like on your way out. Take it home, work on it if you get a chance. It's just a check base of like, do I know what I should know at this point? Which is also what the first problem is going to go over. So people that won't be leaving on the orchestra trip, make sure that you pay attention to the first problem, and your quiz will be super easy. If you blow off the first problem, your choice. So, 525, if you need a label on your notes. And we're doing probably trees today, hence the handout that I gave you looks like a tree. But before we get into probability trees, which I'm not sure if we'll have a chance before orchestra leaves, we want to remind ourselves what we do when there are only 2 events happening. So, you walk up at the casino, the kid casino, right? Because you're not allowed in a real casino yet. And you approach this game called Double Spin. Now, Double Spin's a game that works with a tiny bit of math. It plays off the sum. What does sum mean? Addition, right? Plays off the sum of the 2 spins. So the first thing that you and your team want to do is determine what are all the possible sums that we could get. What we're going to do is we're going to spin it once, remember that number, and spin it a second time. So it will work like this. Spin. We got a -1. Spin. We got a +1. What's our sum? 0. So like that's one of the possible outcomes. So you will, in whatever method makes sense to you, figure out all of the possible outcomes. Then part B is which sum do you think will have the most probability? Like if you had to bet on one outcome. And I don't mean one of the spaces on the spinner, I mean one of the possible sums. Which sum would you bet on? I'm going to give your groups probably 4, maybe 5 minutes to do this. Notice part C should help guide you through parts A and B. What does C ask you to do? What does C ask you to do? Create a probability table. So if you do that, that's going to help you So I'm going to shrink it back down a tiny bit so you can see the spinner. You guys at your groups need to figure out where would you put your money. So make probability. It's going to need to be kind of big. It's just a little chest big. Really, it's like an essay slip. So a lot of teachers will give things at least like once a week that is like, do this really quickly before we leave class. I want to check in with you. And that's what this is.
You're looking at our map, right?
No, probably not. It's just, I just want to check those with you guys. I mean, I'm going to give it to you so you can gauge, like, could I do this? So yes, you need to take it with you. You don't have to, like, do it necessarily. It's just like, here's what you should know how to do at this point at the end of this week. Right? They skip positive too. Now that should tell you something about your outcomes. You have a bigger positive than you have negative. I'm going to switch my screens. Hey, can I zoom in on the spinner and you guys remember what you're trying to do? Figure out all the possible sums by making a probability table and determine which one is most probable.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes.
I had this on my math test.
What?
On my math test. This is
On
on my math test.
math? Yeah. We just haven't gotten there yet this year.
So, like, it was really hard.
This square would be better.
I totally had a problem with probability.
If you're struggling to remember what to do, you can look up here, but I would prefer that you just keep working on your own with your group. Or like at your group. If you need to ask something, ask your group. So everyone's setup should look approximately like that. Right? The results that can happen from spin 1, the results that could happen from spin 2, and then in those boxes go the sums. Okay, so with a lot of math things, there are a lot of right ways to do it. If your numbers go in a different order, it doesn't matter. Your table will look different, but you'll get the same results. So I just caught Kevin erasing, and I was like, what are you doing? He had set it up just fine, but it looked different than mine because his numbers were like 0, -1, -2, 1, 3, or like in a different order. That's fine. I just ordered from negative to positive. I just went from least to great. -2 here. You have to be able to justify why. So if we look at what different outcomes could happen. So that was about 4 or 5 minutes. Can we make -5? there any -5 on our table?
No, we could make it though.
Can -5 be a result of our double spin? No. There's no way to make -5 as a result of our double spin. Are we sure? Because they would have announced it on the speakers, probably. No one's testing anything today. I think they'll announce it on the live
Yes,
speakers. They're getting stuff.
Desi and all of them are testing in the office.
Oh, that's right. Ava.
I mean, I'll radio the office and double check. Don't worry. So, if somebody asked you which of those, and I should start using random cards again, but maybe I'll give you guys till Monday. Somebody said, which of those results is most probable? Where are you going to bet your money? Take 20 seconds, talk with your team. Which result is most probable? Okay, office. Does orchestra need to come down? There you go. Not yet. Miss McGreen does not want you yet. If you're just standing around and call me, that's no fun. Anyone want to make a bet? Put your money. Joey, where do you put your money? -1. Why? There's 4 of them. So there's that -1, that -1, that -1, and that -1. Brandon says he'd put his money on 1. So there's that. There, and there. Okay. So wait, so if we say the probability of 1, or you could say -1, what is it? How do I write that? This is on your quiz. 4 out of 25, because 4 of them are the favorable outcomes that we want. And there are 25 total outcomes. So I could say the same thing, probability of -1 is 4 out of 25. Is there anything with a better probability? Aiden, what's your comment?
I wanted to say that I would probably do my money on 1 too, because then I did notice that a lot of them, I think there are more positives. No, I lied.
Ooh, that brings up a different question. What if you had to bet positive versus negative?
Positive and negative. Because it looks like
Chat with your group for 20 seconds. Would you bet positive or negative? Where would you put your money? Positive or negative? And 0 does not count. It's neither.
positive. I was right.
I'm just circling. I don't know who's right. So notice that because I ordered my table negatives first and then up to the positive, my table's kind of organized. Whose table isn't quite organized, but now you see why. Like, that's okay. That's totally fine. But notice, like, I kind of have a split in my table. How many positives do we have?
We have 12 positives.
12 positives.
10 negatives.
10 negatives. So you have to bet positive versus negative.
I have
Positive is your better probability, right? So if we say the probability of negative, what would that be?
10 out of 24.
Yeah, just that 10 out of 25, right? How many are favorable out of how many total? Now, really quickly, and I know as soon as I start trying to teach this, they are going to call you down to the office, but we're going to go to the ice cream store. Now, I know some of you probably will legitimately buy ice cream on your trip today. But Scott's job at Crazy Creations is kind of like no, not Graders, Cold Stone. Who's been to Cold Stone or Cookie Dough Creamery over in Worthington? So you could walk in there, and I would challenge somebody to do this. Actually, this would be hilarious. We'll get a video if you decide to do this. I would walk in there and say, if I can calculate the amount of possible ice cream combinations, can I have a free ice cream? And I just wonder what their response would be. But we can actually calculate how many possible combinations of ice cream there can be. In some places, we'll advertise like millions of possible sundaes or combinations, and literally that's true. A lot of people will be like, oh, they're just making that up. You can really quickly make a whole lot of possibilities. So, Crazy Creations isn't really that crazy in my opinion. When you walk in, you choose your base flavor. Vanilla, chocolate, that's it. Then, though, you get some chunky mix-ins. So hazelnuts, sprinkles, toffee bits, you choose one of those. You cannot choose multiples. And then you choose a fruit swirl. Apricot, plum, berry, grape. So in front of you on your resource page, is a probability tool that we use when a probability table won't work. When we have more than 2 events, right? On the thing we just did, we spin and we spin 2 events. But here, choose, 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 we have 3 events happening. Let's fill out this probability table to go with this ice cream store. So you walk in, you choose either vanilla or chocolate, then hazelnut sprinkles or toffee bits. Then, if I chose toffee bits, apricot, plum, berry, grape, those are my other choices. So what should go up here after hazelnuts? Apricot, plum, berry, grape. So let's go ahead and you can just write the letters. So let's go ahead and fill in A, P, B, G. On all of these. Go ahead and get those ones at the bottom as well.
Wait, what comes after? Oh, all of them.
So then the chocolate branch, though, they're even missing their chunky mix-ins. So the chocolate branch, we have to add in those hazelnut mix-ins, the sprinkle mix-ins, or the toffee bits mix-ins, and then still the apricot, plum, berry, grape, apricot, plum, berry, grape, apricot, plum, berry, grape.
How did I forget that? Wait, are those like toppings?
Sure. I mean, if you did vanilla ice cream with sprinkles, then a grape topping would be appropriate. Like, you could do grape and vanilla. I ate blueberry and pomegranate ice cream last night.
That's really good.
You
Yeah,
could
that's
judge
like,
it to yourself.
that's like an ice
Yeah, and it
cream.
had dark chocolate in it. It was awesome.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So, if this store, I'm going to come to you in a second, if this store were to advertise this many combinations of ice cream, chat with your group, 20 seconds, how many combinations of ice cream do they have? What? No. You can, well, okay. This is how many combinations, assuming you get each, like one of each topping. Because sure, just pure vanilla counts. So, but then I guess we would say there's a topping option of none and a topping. But you're making it more complicated. I love that you're making it more complicated. Right now, just go with how many combinations with toppings. For today, can you get chocolate with toffee and sprinkles or something like that? I don't know. Casey, what's up, man? Thank you. All right. Anyone know? Skylar? 24. How'd you figure it out?
I just counted the lines.
Skylar just counted. What math skills? Kevin, you got another idea?
Yeah, I saw that one of the toppings actually had four other choices. Then I saw that there were 6 others, so I decided to multiply 4 by 6.
Ooh, here's what you could have done to even leapfrog that a bit better. So Kevin said, look, I noticed there's 6 of these, hazelnut sprinkle toffee, and each of them go to 4. So he said, I did 6 times 4. He's right, except there's 2 choices. This is... Hold on.
If you're going on the Columbus Symphony,
Mr. Smith has a paper for you as you walk out. Please stick that somewhere that it won't get totally lost. And this is 6 because it's really 2 times 3 times 4. That's why. You're right, though. But this is 6 right here because the 2 choices there and the 3 choices here and then the 4 choices there. All right, we'll let orchestra transition out and then we'll move on.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's not as many as I thought, but still, I mean. All right, so to wrap up this problem, well, not wrap up this problem, wrap up this part of this problem. Does it make sense how we get 24 different combinations, either by counting, just literally out on the end of the tree, or by doing the math. Yes? So, if, who's there? I forget the people's names. Scott. Scott's got to choose some ice cream for his siblings. This is broken.
Are we doing all of this right now?
Yeah. We're not doing the whole lesson right now.
No, are we doing this?
That resource page, yeah, we're working on the probability tree. So you can copy that from somebody if you want. So we ended up, I don't know if my writing, so Ava, if you want to check this out real quick. We need to fill in the hazelnut sprinkles toffee bits at the bottom. And then the apricot plum berry grape has to be at each end branch also. So we just did the first initial of it. Apricot plum berry grape, apricot plum berry grape. Yeah, forget about continuing with this problem. We'll pick it up with orchestra. So here's what's up now. Sorry, I'll go back to that for you. Here's what's up. This quiz, mini mastery, whatever you want to call it, is a checkpoint essentially of, do you know how to find basic probabilities, like single event occurrence, because we're about to move on with some heavier vocab, and I don't want orchestra people to miss it. And of course, this afternoon class is going to be kind of goofed up also. So there are 3 questions on this mini mastery. You may work together with whoever's at your table group. However, each of you need to turn in your own paper. So it's not just like, we work on one paper. You each have to be writing. Kind of. Yeah, but a lot of times the team test, I would just have you turn in one, like have one scribe.
Which we're allowed to sit next to each other?
Yeah. And talk with each other and work together. But you just all have to do it. You brought them for me?
Yeah.
You bring them for the class?
Yeah.
Really? They're expensive though. I don't really want to make you give all to the class. I'll take one though for real. Can you try to at some point draw a phoenix in one of those? I think that would be sweet. Alright, so here's what's up. Number 1, basic probability problem. Right? You got a bag, you got marbles, one of those that you've seen a lot of. Number 2 and number 3, and number 3 is on the back. None of this whole, I didn't know there was a back. There's always a back. It's just, is there writing on it? Number 3 is on the back. Number 2 and number 3 are probability table problems. Okay, I wrote it in the problem, and I'm telling you right now, you're going to make probability tables to solve those problems. If you have questions, you must first ask your group before you can raise your hand and ask Mr. Smith or myself. Okay? Go for it. You got 15 minutes. Actually, more than that. Yeah. No, I gave you a pencil right here. I just don't have that. I don't play that game of research.
I have some lead.
I don't use .7. I use .9 because I break.
Okay.
So sorry to break your
I break my knives too.
I'll check my desk and see if at some point I picked up some off the floor, like a pack of lead, but your odds are not favorable.